The Trump administration is turning the heat up on undocumented immigrants. What will happen next, or what they're proposing, may shock you. Welcome to Global Reference News Inside America. Joe Colbert reporting. I came across a very interesting article that I want to talk about, and this is a little bit out of our usual conventional setup here. But I think it's very interesting that not a lot of people are talking about, but I definitely think needs some attention. And so this is from DHS.gov. This is an interesting article, and let me read it to you, and you guys can check it out. So it says, Secretary Noem announces agency will enforce laws that penalize aliens in the country illegally. And that's dated February 25th, which is today. Well, if you're getting this video, it was yesterday. And it says DHS will use every available tool to compel illegal aliens to self-deport. So it looks like the aim here is to get people to self-deport. And the consequences, if you don't, will definitely make you think about it. Just as Washington, today, Secretary Kristi Noem announced the Department of Homeland Security will fully enforce the Immigration and Nationality Act, which created multiple tools to track illegal aliens and compel them to leave the country voluntarily. These tools include criminal penalties for certain aliens who willfully fail to deport the United States, fail to register with the federal government and be fingerprinted, fail to apprise the federal government of changes to their address. And it also goes on to say, an alien's failure to depart the United States is a crime that could result in significant financial penalty. An alien's failure to register is a crime that could result in a fine, imprisonment, or both. So they're telling you, if you don't get down with this, then you're going to go to jail. And sources are saying that they have 30 days to do this. So from 30 days from today, I've read in a bunch of different articles elsewhere, that they have 30 days from today to register. And if they don't register, they're basically, on a radar to get picked up. But then you got to ask yourself, well, if they do register, they're going anyway. So I kind of don't get it. So if they don't register, they're going to get fined and go to jail. But if they do register, they're going to get deported. So I guess, yeah, they want them to self-deport. Just as for decades, this law has been ignored, but not anymore. And that's the thing. See, for so long, I guess America has went off the books that when they actually go on the books, it's like a culture shock. It says compelling mass self-deportation is a safer path for aliens and law enforcement and saves U.S. taxpayer dollars, in addition to conserving valuable customs and border protection, CBP, and immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, resources needed to keep Americans safe. Interesting. And I also seen this other article here that I'm going to switch to. Well, this is an article. This is actually the United States Citizens and Immigration Services website. And so it says alien registration requirement. So this is what you have to fill out here. And it says on January 20th, 2025, President Trump issued the Protecting American People Against Invasion executive order, which directed the Department of Homeland Security to ensure that aliens comply with their duty to register with the government under Section 262 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, and ensure that failure to comply is treated as a civil and criminal enforcement priority. So now they're putting you up there with the criminals if you don't do this. And so it requires all aliens 14 years of age and older who are not fingerprinted or registered when applying for a U.S. visa who remain in the United States for 30 days or longer must apply for registration and fingerprinting. Interesting. Similarly, parents and guardians must ensure their child below the age of 14 are registered. Okay, so whether you are 14, older or younger, you still have to register within 30 days of reaching their 14th birthday. And so, it goes on to, go into the specifics. And so it says who needs to be registered pretty much. Anyone who has been issued one of the documents designated as evidence of registration has registered. So you need a document to say that you registered. And it says lawful permanent residents, aliens paroled into United States, aliens admitted to United States as non-immigrants who were issued a Form I-94. All aliens present in the United States who were issued immigrant or non-immigrant visas prior to arrival, aliens whom DHS has placed into removal proceedings, aliens issued an employment authorization document, aliens who have applied for lawful permanent residence using the forms even if the applications were denied, and aliens issued border crossing cards. And it goes on to say who must apply for registration: all aliens 14 years of age and older. And they got to do that if they've been in the country for longer than 30 days. Parents and legal guardians of aliens less than 14 years of age have not been registered and remain in the United States for 30 years or longer, so they have to do it. And any alien, whether previously registered or not, who turns 14 years old in the United States within 30 days of the 14th birthday. It says who is not registered, anyone who has not been issued one of the documents. Yeah, so pretty much if you don't have this document, you're not registered. Right, so this includes aliens who are present in the United States without inspection and admission, or inspection and parole, Canadian visitors, and other aliens. And it tells you how to register. So, interesting. Very interesting. So, we asked ourselves, so this is obviously, the Trump administration throwing another dart, try to get people to come from out of the shadows, try to get people to self-deport, or what have you. Do I think it'll work? I think some people will go for it because so if you don't register, then what happens? They're saying you can go to jail. And this also really depends on where you're at. So if you're in a state like California, per se, I don't think this is going to go very far because you have a very far left government that's already fighting the federal government. So if you live in California, I don't think you really have much to worry about. Just the other day, ICE agents showed up to one person's house to detain him. One guy with a bullhorn who is like a anti-ICE protester, he came up with his bullhorn, got real loud, ICE backed off. So if you're in California, I don't think you really have to really even worry about, this here. Now, if you live in a red state, Florida, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, then yes, this will definitely be something for you to worry about. Other than that, we have so many undocumented, immigrants here in Los Angeles that, number one, you don't have the manpower to detain all these people. Number two, you don't have the shelters to put them. You don't have the food to feed them. You don't have the gas to transport them. So I think this is just, political theater. I think it's Donald Trump saying, hey, I'm doing my job like I said I would. Will the results bring in the numbers that he promised? I strongly doubt it. But who knows? Time will tell. www.globalreferencenews.com, where we have more interesting stories, not only here in America, but from around the world.